Wednesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA Family, McGroy Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy Wednesday to you. This is going to be a very interesting show today. Very fun. I've got some fun stuff planned. I've got a little, little I told you so planned today on a couple of fronts. I love a good I told you so. Today is February 4th, Wednesday, February 4th. It is the debut of Rumble Shorts today. So, let me ask you this question, folks. Let's see. We'll do this the way our government is supposed to work, right? I'm going to ask the people a question. The people are going to respond. And based off of how the people respond, the popular response will determine whether or not I do said thing. Right? That's the way government's supposed to work. Okay? So, first question I'm going to ask is, did everybody hear about the Billie Eilish story with the stolen land? Did you guys? I don't even know who Billie Eilish is. I'm not sure if I know any of her songs. I thought it was a guy at first. Bongino called her Bill yesterday. He said, Bill. We call her Bill.
Some people call her Billie Eyelash.
Well, Nick Cale does on 12:10.
I love that. I think that's
Nick Cale does on 12:10. He calls her Billie Eilish. Did you guys hear about the Billie Eilish stolen land thing with the house? Okay. Can you go in? Hold on. You know what I'm gonna do? Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this for. I want to do for 1 second. I'm gonna mute and take the camera off so people don't. The surprise isn't ruined. Okay, so we're gonna mute. Behind the scenes stuff. Okay, now. You heard the stolen land thing. Should I, because we're debuting because Rumble Shorts is debuting today. Thank you, Brennan. Should I bring back Chief Golden Eagle to make an address on Rumble Shorts and other platforms about Billie Eilish and the stolen land? Is this a good idea or a bad idea? What do the people have to say? Does Chief Golden Eagle from Columbus Day, oh my goodness, these feathers.
All over.
I'll tell you what, stolen land. Does Chief Golden Eagle make a comeback today to celebrate the debut of Rumble Shorts and and to make a video calling out and having fun with Billie Eilish? So the chat right now is like a unanimous yes. It's a unanimous. Look at this. There's not a single no. There's not a single no. All right? Everyone's like, do it. Do it. Do it. Kill him. Kill him now. Do it. Okay? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay.
All the personalities are coming out right now.
And all the personalities. Look at that. Look at it. All right, there it is. I'm going to do it. All right? I was sitting on the idea last night. I said, let's run it by the people, the beautiful people, the talented people. Okay? So the Chief Golden Eagle headdress, which I used on, when I said, Hakeem Jeffries has a tiny teepee, right? Very small teepee. Chief Golden Eagle headdress is coming out, and we'll make a Billie Eilish video today, a little bit later today. So that'll be a good time. And I'll put that on Rumble Shorts, but I'll put it everywhere else as well, just because it's going to be silly and funny. And I think, maybe it makes its way over to old Bill, right? Little Billie Eilish. What is that? That's racist. Yeah, please, Billy. William, whatever your name is. What is Billy short for if you're a female? Wilma? Right? Because Bill is short for William if you're a dude.
It's probably a stage name.
Billy, yeah. Like Myron Gaines. Yeah. Myron Gaines is a stage name because his name's actually Amru Foodle, which I wouldn't want to go by. I would not want to go by Amru Foodle in public either. So I don't blame him for, putting a quote unquote stage name. All right. Speaking of Myron Gaines, I don't know if you guys are on X, if you're paying attention. The woke right, you know what I'm talking about. Wait. Hold on. We get it right. Yeah. The It's the Jews crowd is absolutely they're having a tough time right now. Nick Fuentes is going at Jake Shields. And did you hear, this is I told you so number one. Did you hear the rumors, and I'm just going to say rumors because I don't know
Allegedly.
exactly what went on here, right? I'm not going to do the Candace Owens. Well, I don't know, but I know. No. Right? Like, listen, did you hear the rumors about Elijah Schaffer, right? Apparently, something happened yesterday. He had like a major, and I don't like this guy. I call him an idiot all the time. I don't think he's a smart person. I don't think he's a good person. Apparently married, has children, and the rumor is that he had an affair. Rumor. I don't know if it's true. The rumor is that he had an affair with one of his employees, and the rumor is that there may have been drugs involved, and the rumor is that there may have been an abortion to cover up the affair, and the rumor is now that, well, actually, I don't think it's a rumor because he admitted that his wife divorced him, but there's other information saying that he actually divorced her in another state after she divorced him because apparently we're back in high school, and it's like, you didn't dump me, I dumped you. No, I'm not fired, I quit. I just want to use that as an example. The employee in question was Sarah Stock, who puts herself forward as some sort of, this is the label, right? Trad Catholic influencer. Generally, and I'm not going to say everybody does, but generally those who put forth, if you have to virtue signal about that, right? You're playing a game, okay? You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Allegedly, there was an affair between the two of them. And I will say this. I am not surprised and would not be surprised if all of that information is true. Now, there's a rumor that's like, did Elijah kill his family? I don't think any of that happened. What do I think? I think drugs are involved. I think there was an affair. There may have been an abortion. There's a lot of degeneracy. And it comes from a group of people who have repeatedly shown everybody that they are degenerates. This is not me saying that I'm a perfect person or that everything I do is the right decision and that, infallible, right? Unimpeachable. But I'd like to think I make pretty good choices, okay? I've been in very good agreement with the law, and morally, those types of things I find to be repulsive. Infidelity. You know the way I've said this about Jason Aldean. They're like, oh, glass houses. It's not glass houses because I would never do such a thing, right? For those of you who don't know about the Jason Aldean story, just look it up. I'm not saying don't listen to his music. I'm not saying he shouldn't be speaking out. I'm not saying he's on the wrong side. I'm saying he's pretty dirty, the things he's done in his life. Can people overcome it? And, whatever. You guys can go down that route all you want. The reason why I'm very lukewarm on Aldean is because the woman he's currently with is not the woman he was with to begin with, and he cheated on his wife with this woman, married her. I don't like it. I just don't think it's good, okay? That being said, if you like his music, you like his music. If you think he's a patriot, he's probably a patriot. I just think, maybe deep down somewhere else, not the best guy. That's it, okay? I don't like that. I don't like infidelity. It's one of those things where, like, if you're doing that, I'm really not a fan of yours. That's it. It's hard for me to get over that, right? So this story with Schaffer and Sarah Stock, again, these are rumors. Some of it has been, I think, confirmed by Elijah that there was a divorce, but he went on some sort of crash out meltdown yesterday. His wife and kids were kidnapped. The FBI is planting drugs on him. I mean, this is a whole thing. I just want to let everybody know this right now, okay? Whether you're on my side, you're not on my side, you think I'm too judgmental, whatever it is. Some of you guys may be listening and say, oh, here he goes on the woke ride again. First of all, F anybody who said, stop calling them out, it's infighting, they're on your side. I told you they're not on our side. I told you these people are not people you want to have in your company. Zach Misfit Patriot has been saying it too, a little longer than I've been saying it, right? Folks, I'm not saying I'm right about everything I say. I'm saying I'm right about a lot of the things I say, and I have a pretty good read on a lot of these people because I have seen them when the lights are off. Behind closed doors. Okay? When people ask me, how come you're not going to Turning Point USA? How come you're not going to CPAC? How come you're not going to this convention? How come you're not going to that convention? The answer is always because it's not the convention for many people. It's not about the convention for many people. It is about the drugs, the parties, the sex, the degeneracy that takes place when the convention is over. I've seen it multiple years in a row. You would be horrified. Some of the people who you would hold in high regard, what they do. You'd be horrified. You would be absolutely mortified at what went on behind the scenes. People in Congress, reporters, you'd be horrified. You would be mortified at what goes on at these events if you're in some of those parties and things. And I would go to, hey, we'll party. Okay, we'll have a few drinks. I'd go there. I go, what the hell is going on? I'm out. I'm out. It's not my scene. So why go? If the majority of the people that are going aren't going to network or to build themselves up or make connections, they're going there to do drugs and relive college and high school, then why go? That's my thing. Why go? Why leave the house? Why leave the family? Why go? So I'm just saying, this story with Elijah Schaffer, Sarah Stock, again, a lot of it is rumors, but a lot of it looks like it's plausible, okay? They're not the only ones. I'm not defending them. They're not the only ones. That's the tip of the iceberg. If you have seen what I have seen, the things that people do, the way some of these people behave, the way a lot of these people behave, you could get to a point where you're so turned off, you don't even want to be a part of MAGA anymore. That's how bad, and they are not representative of what this movement is about. I want to be very clear. You in the chat who are like, oh my gosh, is he about to spill tea? You are what this movement's about, not them. So just know that. Just know that. But I told you so about Elijah Schaffer. Okay? The Sarah Stock thing. Yeah, oh, she's a traditional Catholic. Great, cool. Where in the traditional Catholic doctrine does it say to cheat on your fiance? Again, alleged, but there's apparently some sort of audio recording of her admitting to it. So again, it's alleged, but it's like alleged air quotes. Okay? I'm just saying. The next time you see me calling someone out, just know it's probably for a good reason. That's all. It's not going to be about them the whole show. I just wanted to get that off my chest. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in this movement that are not in it for the movement. They're in it for the drugs. They're in it for the sex. They're in it for the parties. It's disgusting. It's like, 1980s rock band type stuff. You know what happens behind stage? You hear the stories like in a documentary 30 years later. Yeah, it's like that. Not my scene. That's not what I want to do.
This is why I always stay home.
Guys, I just want to win elections. That's all I want to do. Dirty, very dirty game. And it's kind of like Congress, too. You know what happens in D.C.? Everybody knows. Wink and a nod what goes on behind the scenes in Washington, D.C. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say, because I'm very close to saying something that could get me in trouble. So we're just not going to do it. We're going to say, I told you so on that. I'm going to give you another I told you so in a second. All right? And I think I told you so. Okay, we'll go there. And then we'll talk about voter ID. Voter ID, is Tulsi Gabbard onto something with the 2020 election? I think so, based off of how the left is behaving. So we'll talk about that. Anti-ICE groups got dealt a huge loss in Minneapolis. Gerald Nadler, who sounds just like Charles Schumer. Charles Schumer. They have the same, because they're both New York Jews, right? Like New York City Jews. So they have the same, it's that dialect accent. Jerry Nadler, he made a suggestion. Maybe shooting ICE agent, shooting with a gun, not with a super soaker, not with a rubber band, not with a slingshot, like a gun. He's like suggesting it could be justified. You may want to try it. What? No. We'll get to that. A bizarre story out of New Orleans, which we're going to have fun with. Bizarre story. An illegal alien was in their police department, recruited into the police department, but it's where the illegal alien is from that's going to be what we have fun with, because we went down a little rabbit hole last night on YouTube, after I read this story. So this is going to be great. All right. So before we get to all that, let's get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. I hope I was clear about all the things, the extracurricular things, right? You have school and you have after school and you have after school, the after school stuff. All right. Nestled in the scenic, this is OFPfarms.com. OFP, you would be horrified. Some of the people you think are great, you would be horrified. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Just, it's bad. It's really bad. All right. Nestled in the scenic foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, OFP Farms is more than just a farm. It embodies a tradition of quality and care. Proudly operating since 2014, OFP Farms goats are lovingly raised, roaming open pastures and breathing fresh air, which ensures that the milk produced is of the highest standard. From creamy goat milk soaps and moisturizers to our nourishing tallow-based balms, each product is thoughtfully crafted with your family's well-being in mind. OFP Farms is committed to sustainable farming practices, providing natural and wholesome products that you can rely on. Whether you're in search of gentle skincare solutions or you simply wish to indulge in the purity of farm fresh goods, OFP Farms warmly invites you to explore their website, ofpfarms.com. OFP Farms' mission is to bring a piece of the farm into your home, nurturing your family with the finest that nature has to offer. Be sure to visit ofpfarms.com. It's ofpfarms.com. Oscar Foxtrot, papafarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN, for 10% off. ofpfarms.com, promo code Sean, ofpfarms.com, promo code Sean for 10% off of your entire order. That is OFP, Oscar Foxtrot, papafarms.com, ofpfarms.com, promo code SHAWN, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey, November. Next up, a word from our friends at tryarmra.com/LFA TV. It is Armra Colostrum. Colostrum is one of the best supplements that you can take. Is this a cure-all? No. Is it going to help your gut health? I say absolutely. Look, everybody's body is different, but for me, what a difference this stuff has made. I had been taking colostrum. I ate a gigantic burrito. No issues. What's going on? That's called a healthy gut, baby. That's a healthy gut. You guys know I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, specifically, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. Armra Colostrum can do all that and more for you. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life and contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. It can help reactivate your hair growth, help your skin glow. It can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and it can help fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. Check it out at tryarmra.com, tryarmra.com/LFATV. Get 15 to 30% off of your first order. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV, tryarmra.com/LFATV. You will not regret. I don't think you're going to regret taking this stuff and trying it out. And for those of you who have taken colostrum, throw it in the chat there. What has it done for you? Because for me, I'm telling you what, gut health, 1,000%. I have noticed a difference with skin. Fitness, performance, and recovery, I'm not so sure. But the skin and the gut, 1,000%. Brennan's had some really good reactions to and responses to colostrum, right? Yeah. Skin, everything's doing good there. Gut health, hair growth, all of that sounds, all of that looks good. So there you go. Tryarmra.com/LFATV, tryarmra.com/LFATV. Let's get to this. You know, Nicki Minaj, that's been quite a thing going on. And I have to say, I'm cautiously optimistic about Nicki Minaj, right?
Smart.
Cautiously optimistic.
Smart.
I'm not, you know how I am. I'm not like, oh, she's our new hero. Let's bow down and kiss the feet of Nicki. Like, I'm happy she's speaking out. Absolutely happy she's speaking out, right? This is, it's a good thing. It's a net positive, right? You talk about wins and losses, that is a win. That helps advance the agenda. That helps move the needle. Nicki Minaj speaking out. But I would be lying to you if I didn't have a piece of me, and maybe this is just the Jet fan in me, that the other shoe is always going to drop and everything's going to go bad before the game ends and we're somehow going to lose, right? That's just the Jet fan in me, very jaded, cynical. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you there was a little piece of me in the back of my head that says, is this another Kanye, right? Remember when Kanye started getting red-pilled? Ironically, he was like, I like the way Candace Owens thinks. That was like one of the first things he said online. That was before she had completely lost her mind. But he started getting like red-pilled and then, went through a Christian phase, right? Then all of a sudden he hated Jews and he was doing songs called Hail Hitler and talking about how great the Nazis are. And then he apologized for things all over the place. Turns out he was just nuts, right? Like he's just a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs type of guy. Now, I'm not saying Nicki's doing that. I'm saying we've seen it happen where it's like, wow, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is okay, all right, maybe not. So far, Nicki has not gone into the maybe not realm. I'm just saying there's a part of me that says, let's just be careful. We welcome her to the movement. I'm happy that she's speaking out. She's doing all the right things right now. But I'm just saying, don't be surprised if that doesn't last. I hope it's genuine. But, some of the things she did in the past is kind of like, really? You did a 180 on all that? Maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe she really, did, get into her Bible and get into her faith, and it changed her entire, what she's about. Maybe. It's possible. Fine. And that, what she's putting forward right now is that. I guess there's a piece of me that's like, we've kind of seen it before with Kanye. But I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen, right? So, But this is why I believe Nikki is a net positive, okay? She's out there talking about voter ID. She made a post about voter ID. And she was like, I don't even know why we're having a debate over this, which is really the way most of us should be talking about it. It is such a common sense issue that you have people like Nicki Minaj, who's not into, well, she wasn't for a while. I would still consider Nicki Minaj a political novice. She's still very new to the political game. Okay? And even when it comes to the politics, she's really on the faith side of it, not necessarily the civics side of it, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Advance the agenda any way you want to advance it. But Nicki Minaj made a post on X and said, what sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate on whether or not there should be voter ID? Like they're actually fighting not to have people present ID while voting for your leaders. Do you get it? Do you get it now? 300,000 likes on X. Whatever, the internet's not real life. It could be coming from other countries. Some of it could be bots. My point is the fact that she's saying that as a political newcomer, right? She's never been overtly political in her career. It's not a thing that she's, taken up as a hobby. She's a political novice right now. The fact that she's coming in here going, are you guys kidding me? Why are we even having this debate? That's the way we should talk about voter ID. That's the way we should talk about voter ID. You need an ID to drive your vehicle. You need an ID to buy a drink at a bar. You need an ID to buy paint sometimes. You need an ID to buy a firearm sometimes. You need an ID to buy other age-restricted items. You don't need an ID to vote? Hell, there was a rag on Long Island that used to write hit pieces about me and Kevin all the time, the Smithtown News. And when I wrote to them as Holden McGroin, and they found out that I punked them, they were like, oh, we're going to start requiring proof of identification to write a letter to the editor. It is harder to write a letter to the editor, to the rag known as the Smithtown News on Long Island, than it is to vote. It's a common sense thing. Common sense. But this is the point I make about Nicki Minaj, okay? She spoke out about it. And then a poll was conducted about it, okay? And that's what I mean by moving the needle. It turns out that an overwhelming majority, libs, soils, we haven't used that one in a while, slow on intake liberals. One time someone was like, it's not intake, it's uptake. Yeah, but I don't want to call them souls. Yes, I want to call them soils, okay? Because they don't have souls. These people are soulless, okay? Soils, slow on intake liberals, okay? To the soil community, all right? Overwhelmingly popular. That does not mean 51%. 83% of those polled were like, yeah, voter ID's duh. Wait, we don't have that? Come on. Here's Mr. Caffeine himself, Harry Enton, talking about the voter ID poll that came out after Nicki Minaj said something about it. This is what I'm talking about, moving the needle, right? I could say something about it. No one's going to run a poll. Nicki Minaj says something about it. Go, whoa, look at the reaction she got. Let's see if that reaction pans out in one of our studies. Pew Research poll found that an overwhelming majority of Americans support voter ID in our elections. Watch.
The American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by party? What's the party breakdown?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, And what you see is that the American people, actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats. We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a photo ID to vote.
What's the racial breakdown?
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of
Okay, 76% of black Americans support voter ID, but Chuck Schumer, it's Jim Crow 2.0. How about Joe Biden? Remember Joe Biden? Yeah, come on, man. It's like we used to have Jim Crow. It's like Jim Eagle. You know, because an eagle is a bigger bird than a crow. Guy was our president. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's focused. I have trouble even saying in my own head the number of years. I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than fly. Say hello to the oyster bunny. The bird here is better than the Earth Rider. Earth Rider. Do I have that? I got to have that somewhere. I'll try and find it. Folks, come on. Okay? Voter ID is not controversial. Voter ID is not something that, you know, people are black people can't. 76% of black people think voter ID is a good idea. Does that mean to you? To anybody that black people can't get an ID? Do you know how racist it is to be like, hey, you're black? Oh, you must not be able to get an ID. What do you think? They can't drive?
They don't know what a computer is, apparently.
Kathy Hochul. Oh, the young black men in the Bronx don't know what a computer is. What? Joe Biden. Now you got the young black people going to McDonald's for their Wi-Fi. Like they don't have internet. What the hell is going on? This is the soft bigotry of low expectations. We've talked about this on a number of occasions, right? We've talked about this on a number of occasions. The soft bigotry of low expectations. That's what the Democrats are doing. The problem is, again, it's not reaching enough people like that. If you went to the 76% of black Americans that were polled in this new Pew Research poll about voter ID and said, do you know the Democrats think you can't get one of those? And that's why they're not in favor of voter ID, because they think you are incapable of getting an ID simply because you're black. They probably wouldn't like that too much, would they? They probably wouldn't like that too much, would they? No, of course they wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. So there you have, here you go, by the way.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes.
Thanks for the Great Lakes. And then my all-time favorite.
By the way, it's all his fault that we're spending $6 billion in taxpayer money this month to help AIDS fight HIV.
Yeah, it's all Elton John's fault that we're spending money on AIDS. Yeah, that was my favorite. It's all his fault, this gay guy.
The United States of America got it, too. That's what Machine reminded me in the chat.
Yeah, that's right. It's the United States of America got it. Okay.
In the Melania documentary.
I was just about to bring that up. The Melania documentary is great. Like, there's a scene from the inauguration, and Biden's just in the hallway, and he's just like,
he doesn't know where he is. You can tell.
Wow.
And then Trump leans over and says something to him. And
wow. Oh, it's a real nice building, man. How they get here? Wow. This is another good one from Joe Biden when he spelled 8 but forgot the T.
We have 1,000 billionaires in America. You know the average tax rate they pay? 8, EIGH%.
EIGH%. Hey!
Hey!
Remember, Joe Bidenopolis. I mean, there's just so many. So many. Say hello to
Thanks,
oyster
everybody.
bunnies.
And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies.
All right, he misspoke. Oyster bunnies, whatever. But this, of course, another one of my favorites. This.
I have trouble even saying to myself my own head the number of years. I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than fly.
Remember, what was it? End of quote. Repeat the line. Ron Burgundy was the president of the United States. All right. Voter ID, immensely popular. Nicki Minaj is right. And that is the moral of the story of the first segment of today's show. Okay? 83%. That's not a small number. 83%. That's like, it's more than 3/4. It's more than 4 out of 5. Okay? 83%. EIGH percent. Okay? 83%. There you go. I want to get to this Tulsi Gabbard story in a second because I think she's onto something with this election fraud. I think the media is terrified. That's why they're behaving in this way. The media generally doesn't lash out at somebody and start, throwing what at the wall, sugar, honey, iced tea at the wall and hoping it sticks if they're not afraid of what that person is doing, right? Donald Trump's in the Epstein files. That's all they were singing this whole song. They're like, he's mentioned 5,300 times. Okay. But how was he mentioned? Oh, he helped take Epstein down? Oh, okay. Got it. Cool. No problem. Interesting. So this story about Tulsi Gabbard is definitely interesting. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at Silent. It is slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even those pesky cyber criminals, everybody wants a piece of your digital footprint. They're all fighting for it, and they don't ask. A lot of them, they just take it. That's why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. You know what no signal means? It means no tracking. It means no remote access. It means no breadcrumbs. That's the same technology that's been trusted by special ops teams around the world, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is all available to you to protect your family, to protect your freedom, and to secure your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid. Completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their cross bodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean. It's my name, SHAWN, to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, stay one step ahead. Silent.com, silence the chaos. Go silent today. slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN. All right. Here we go. Tulsi Gabbard. Knives are now out for Tulsi Gabbard as she appears to be closing in on some answers, or at least some additional information about the 2020 election. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is onto something, and the right people are upset. One of the best ways to judge your effectiveness is how? It's based on what the left is saying about you, right? Bob Hoge over at Red State said this a little while ago. This is an article written by Strife over there. After Gabbard appeared on the scene at the operation to secure the multi-year crime scene that is the Fulton County, Georgia election hub and operations center, she was subject of a thinly sourced leak to the Wall Street Journal that seemed to have the sole purpose as sidelining her with a fake scandal, otherwise known as a hoax. A hoax. Tulsi Gabbard came out swinging full throttle against false and slanderous accusations from the Dems and the media. To recap, the Wall Street Journal ran a quote-unquote exclusive, whoa, we got a whistleblower, there's a whistleblower, on Monday that seemed to claim that Tulsi Gabbard had done something wrong. Ooh, scary. However, a fair reading of the article doesn't make it very clear what she did or didn't do. What does this sound like? Let's go. Let's take a trip down memory lane, okay? Take a trip down memory lane with me right now. Does anyone think this sounds kind of familiar? Like maybe they're running the same play out of their playbook? Think back. When's the last time you heard oh my gosh, this person is doing something horrible and there needs to be consequences because a whistleblower said he heard something that somebody else heard on a phone call. Does that sound like anything that maybe happened before in this country's history? By the way, right when the person who the whistleblower was trying to take down was asking questions about certain deals that were done between our country and that other country, and maybe the president of the United States and his son, who didn't have experience working in that country in an industry that he also had no experience in. Yeah, T.D. Hodges is like, it sounds like Vindman, Alexander Vindman. Oh, let's see. Someone's like, this sounds like when Nadler crapped himself. No, Emerald's got it. Ukraine. Yes. Impeachment hoax number 1. Remember, whistleblower. It was Eric Charamella. You still can't say that on Facebook, by the way. It's like still blacklisted. Whistleblower alleged Donald Trump did a quid pro quo. Ukraine. He wants Zelensky and all them to investigate Hunter Biden. Remember that? Because he was onto something, because there was something going on. By the way, if there wasn't something bad that happened, why did Joe Biden pardon Hunter for it? Huh? Hello? Anybody home? So Tulsi Gabbard is now the target of a whistleblower complaint. U.S. intelligence official, this is from the Wall Street Journal, has alleged wrongdoing by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in a whistleblower complaint. Gee, we've never seen those before. That is so highly classified, it has sparked months of wrangling over how to share it with Congress, according to U.S. officials and others familiar with the matter. Remember, they tried to say Tulsi Gabbard was a Russia asset, too, for a while. Hillary actually made that accusation. The filing of the complaint has prompted a continuing behind-the-scenes struggle about how to assess and handle it, with the whistleblower's lawyer accusing Gabbard of stonewalling the complaint. Gabbard's office rejects that characterization, contending it is navigating a unique set of circumstances and working to resolve the issue. Paragraph 13 says the following. Gabbard answered written questions about the allegations from the Inspector General's office, a senior official at the spy agency said. That prompted the acting inspector general at the time, Tamara Johnson, to determine the allegations specifically about Gabbard weren't credible, the official said. Johnson remains employed at the agency, which didn't make her available for an interview. So the Wall Street Journal puts out this huge thing. Is Gabbard doing something wrong? Is there a whistleblower complaint that says she's abusing her power? Oh, my goodness gracious. Right after the 2020 election raid at Fulton County. Right after that, right? But they bury the lead. They do this all the time. They float the allegation. They put the headline up. They float the allegation. They make it look like it's some sort of credible thing. And then down all the way in the article, because these Wall Street Journal pieces are very long, they come out and go, yeah, but the Inspector General said there was nothing to it. So then why are we talking about it? As Harry Enton says, what are we talking about, right? As it turned out, there was no delay in producing the, quote, security guidance from D&I Gabbard on how to handle the report. The whistleblower's complaint is within the Congressional Intelligence Committees for review, and Gabbard produced the receipts. Gabbard said the following. Contrary to the blatantly false and slanderous accusations being made against me by members of Congress and their friends in the propaganda media, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has and will continue to take action under my statutory authorities to secure our nation and ensure the integrity of our elections. Tulsi Gabbard. The scandal was getting a helping push from the media, saying, why was Tulsi Gabbard even at the building? What is she doing there? Well, because the FBI has two masters. The FBI works as a member, under the Department of Justice specifically, but they do consider themselves an intel agency, and Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National, what does the I stand for? Intelligence! There are only two explanations for why Gabbard was in Fulton County on Wednesday. Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman Mark Warner from Virginia, total tool, said at the hearing. One is that she believes there is a legitimate foreign intelligence nexus, he said, in which case Gabbard, quote, violated her legal obligation to keep the intelligence committees fully and currently informed, or she's attempting to insert the intelligence community into what Warner called a, quote, domestic political stunt designed to legitimize conspiracy theories that undermine our democracy. That was out of the Washington Post. The New York Times said that President Trump had congratulated the agents who had participated in Fulton County's operation. The coordinated campaign across the nation's three most prestigious print outlets, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the New York Times, and we use the word prestigious obviously very lightly, to discredit Gabbard and her investigation into what is increasingly looking like a totally fraudulent 2020 election is eerily similar to how the deep state worked to sandbag Donald Trump during his first term. We've seen this play before. We've seen it. Nobody's falling for it. It's just interesting because we see it. We saw Gabbard there. Now we see the media piling on Gabbard, and it's like, okay, she must be over the target. She must be over the target. Okay. Let's take a quick, well, not a quick break. I'm going to go to Jerry Nadler. This is Gerald Nadler. If you're getting kidnapped by an ICE agent, you should shoot him. Jerry Nadler has been slammed. He's taking a lot of criticism for what he said. And he shouldn't have said this. And he's retiring, whatever. He's resigning the Penguin. Sir craps a lot in pants. Okay. Jerry Nadler is appearing to suggest that citizens are justified in shooting masked ICE agents. Oh, by the way, before we get to that, I told you I had to do I told you so number 2.
Oh, he loves number 2s. And I told you so.
Guys, I'm done trusting Anna Paulina Luna. I'm done. I don't care if she's standing next to Tim Burchett. I'm finished. Because again, yesterday, I played for you that clip, right? We got assurances. Let's play it again.
Rich and Luna and myself are not willing to allow that.
So based on your discussion, it sounds like you're moving towards.
Yes, based on our discussion right now, we're moving towards it. Also, we got assurances on the standing filibuster, which is incredibly important. I don't know if you guys remember.
We got assurances on the standing filibuster, is what Luna said to reporters. We got assurances. No, she didn't, because John Thune yesterday said we haven't made a decision. We're not committing to the standing filibuster. And I'm done. That's it. Look, I'm not saying that she's not on our side. I'm not saying that she's not about the right things. I'm saying that she's full of crap 99% of the time. That's it. I'm done. I am done trusting anything that comes out of the mouth of Anna Paulina Luna, and you should be too. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm saying she's either not doing her due diligence or she's just engagement farming. And dealing in hopium. I can't do this anymore with her. I can't. I told you yesterday that I thought this time might have been different. And it still could play out that the standing filibuster is what happens in the Senate. I want to be very clear. It's not a closed door on either side. But she made it sound like it's coming. We got assurances. And then John Thune literally, 18 hours later was like, no. There's no assurances. Look, did Thune play her? Did she lie? Was she played? Did he lie? I don't know. I just know that every time she says something, it's like Jim Cramer. Every time she says something, the opposite happens. July 15th, 2025, Jerome Powell's firing is imminent. Jerome Powell, still a chairman of the Fed. February 27th, 2025. Phase 2 of the Epstein files are coming soon. FBI moving files to Pam Bondi. That didn't happen until a law was passed in Congress. Over the summer, we're going to do the Pelosi Act, the stock trading app. Nope. And to the people who are defending her and saying, how do you know she wasn't told something different? I see this comment. Okay, I just said she could have been lied to. Yeah. I quite literally just said that, but that's okay, because I'm going to address it. Let's ask this. Would you believe that John Thune is telling you the truth? Would any of us, let's do this, Paul. Would any of us believe that John Thune is telling the truth? Anybody? Does anybody believe John Thune is a trustworthy person? Anybody? Anybody believe John Thune's a trustworthy person? Yes or no? In the chat. I want to see. Would you take John Thune at his word? DeClue says no. He's the first. Then he comes back and says he's an asshat liar. Okay. No. Okay, everybody, hell no.
Emerald.
To the no.
Hell to to the no.
Hail to the no. Okay. No.
We're going to go on tour.
So then why? So if let's say this, let's say Anna Paulina Luna was told something by John Thune. She then took look at this. Everybody in the chat is saying, I wouldn't trust him. But she took what she heard at him. She took him at his word and said it in front of cameras and put it all over social media. So she did trust him. What does that say about her judgment? What does that say about her judgment? I don't think she's a traitor. I don't think she's a rhino. I just think she's not credible because her judgment is lacking. She gets fed bad information and then regurgitates the bad information as if it's good information, and she does this a lot. Bottom line, Anna Paulina Luna is not credible and is very irresponsible with her mouth and what she says and what she posts. I don't think she's a traitor. I don't think she's a rhino. But as we all just saw in the chat, unanimously, we would not believe what John Thune is saying is the truth. But she did, and she did enough that she posted about it on social media. She said it in front of cameras. She posted this weird, meme of John Thune, oh, we're Thune maxing right now, and she made him look like the Hulk or what. It was gross. He's not going to date you, bro. So if she was lied to, that's her fault. Right? For believing him. And that means her judgment is seriously, seriously in question. All right. Jerry Nadler, I want to play this clip. Jerry Nadler saying citizens may be justified in shooting ICE officers. Take a look.
The tax cuts on millionaires and billionaires enacted over the last 10 years. But what is really the major problem in this country today is the fascism in our streets. The attacks on American citizens by masked hoodlums. If you were attacked by a masked person, you might think you were being kidnapped. You'd be justified in shooting the person to protect yourself. But we see people being shot for what? For driving a car? We see people, the ICE goons break into people's homes without a warrant. We see them drag out a man, an American citizen, in his underwear without even permitting him, in the snow, without even permitting him to get dressed.
Sounds like he's describing J6.
This is the major problem we have today, along with the attack on our elections. We saw last week.
It would be justified to shoot him, Gerald Nadler. Okay? Do they want civil war? I think so. We played that Minneapolis police chief how many times? Call 911 on ICE. Yeah, because that's going to end well, right? Remember this nonsense?
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. We have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911.
Yeah, okay. And Jerry Nadler just said, to hell with 911, shoot him. They used the word kidnapping. Make no mistake, the Democrats want a civil war in this country. They want it. And I hope they don't get it for their sake, because they're not the ones with the guns. Okay? Wouldn't last very long. Just going to say. All right. So that was the Jerry Nadler bit. I want to get to a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. And then we're going to have some fun with a story in New Orleans. By the way, tomorrow I've got an interview that's going to run here. It's a little short interview, 25 minutes or so. We'll have the show about. But it is a great guy. I think you're going to love this guy. His name's Jim Tully. He is running for Congress in Georgia's 14th Congressional District. We are 12 days today, 12 days away from the primary, early voting in the primary. 12 days away. Georgia's 14th Congressional District, as we know, belonged to who? Marjorie Taylor Greene. So that's an open seat, special election. You know how we love to pay attention to that. So I interviewed Jim Tully I've got the interview. We're just packaging it up, putting it together, and we're going to run that tomorrow. I encourage everybody to take a look, and I think you're going to really, really like this guy, especially what he says at the very end of the interview. I think you're going to love. I've never interviewed maybe aside from Chris Rose, I've never interviewed a quote-unquote politician, somebody running for office who isn't focused on what Jim Tully did at the end, right? Who's not focused on, let's just say, the almighty dollar. Before we get to that'll be tomorrow. But before we get to this fun story, kind of fun story, we're going to turn it into a fun story out of New Orleans. I want to get to a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
I'm sure by now you've heard that silver went up 160% last year, 2025. I bought this silver for $22 an ounce. It's now worth almost $100. And we and experts think that silver is going to get up to about $200 an ounce. Palladium and platinum were stuck at $900 an ounce for like over a year, or in that area. Now they're up over $2,000. Gold is approaching $5,000 an ounce. If you have ever thought about putting some or all of your retirement or nest egg or savings or just buying bullion in precious metals, now's the time to do it. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Go leave your name, your email, and your phone number. Schedule a time to talk to the folks over at Golden Crest Metals. Get your free gold guide today, and make sure you tune in on Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Crest Report, where we dive deep into precious metals, why they're doing what they're doing, and where we expect them to go. It is like insider trading. Nancy Pelosi knows about that. We don't. It's just inside information. It's not even really that. It's called knowledge. Get yours today and get a part of gold, silver, palladium, and platinum and diversify your portfolio today. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Golden Crest Metals, for being a part of the show. If everybody can copy that link, drop it in your browser, and drop it in your text and share it with all your friends. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way. We're slacking it. I don't know what's going on. Wednesday. He's like, just Wednesday. Who cares? 46 away. You're not getting Mo. Mo's done. We're at 55. The threshold's at 55. But at the end, it's not going to happen now. So, you just lost out on Mo.
Snooze, you lose.
Snooze, you lose. Anyway, I want to get to this funny story. We'll end on a funny note. It's not funny, actually, what happened in New Orleans. ICE arrested an illegal alien that was recruited into the New Orleans Police Department. Why I think it's funny and why I got a laugh out of it is because an illegal alien from Cameroon was recruited and almost graduated the New Orleans Police Academy. So I said, Cameroon? Huh. I knew a guy from Cameroon once. His name was Nenge Ubako. Look at this.
I am Nanja Ibako, exchange student from Cameroon. Ha 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 ha.
That's little trading places. I'm an exchange student from Cameroon. What do you think? Do you think the illegal alien that was in New Orleans was a relative of Nenge Mboko? That's that scene from Trading Places is so funny. Nenge Mboko, is that you? Lionel from the African Education Conference. Yes, I was the director of operations, the highly celestial pavilion. Bobili. Ha! Such a great movie. It's such a great movie. So Nenge Mboko was the illegal alien in New Orleans. I don't know. Maybe he was a relative. I have no idea. Nenge Mboko, a foreign exchange student from Cameroon. It's too good. You could ask Brennan. I was walking around the house doing that. We are moving.
All night last night.
All night. I put the scenes on from the...
You want some beef jerky?
Beef jerky time. You want some beef jerky? I do not drink. It is against my religion. Oh, it's such a good movie. You have to watch it again soon. Despite the mess in Minneapolis sucking up all the oxygen, ICE is doing great work in other cities. This is unbelievable. The left loves to say that, the illegals are doing the jobs that Americans won't do. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Americans who would be cops. And in this case, this guy was gaming the system. He was about to secure a full-time superintendent position in Des Moines, Iowa. There was another one. But this is in New Orleans. ICE confirmed to Fox News that they arrested a New Orleans Police Department recruit who they say is an illegal alien from Cameroon with an active deportation order and no work authorization. They said he was illegally given a gun by the New Orleans Police Department. So that's kind of scary. So there's a guy, right? Illegal, not authorized to work in the United States, deportation order, recruited into the New Orleans Police Department, given a gun, nearly graduated the academy. So he would have had, law enforcement and arrest power. Think of that. And he's not even here legally. But we're told, no. If you, Jasmine Crockett, we ain't picking the cotton. We ain't going in the fields. Them's days are over. The math ain't mathing. It's not about picking the cotton. Clearly, you have illegals now trying to be cops. I think there was a story like this in Maine, too. Look, this is why, I believe in a new Marquette poll, 54% to 42% support deporting every single illegal alien. Because the bottom line is, as I've said on a number of occasions, if you do not enforce the law equally and diligently and thoroughly, then you don't actually have laws. If you don't have laws, you don't have a country. If you don't enforce your border, you don't have a border. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country. It's that simple. And everybody who's here legally wants to have a country because we love this country. Because this is the best country in the world. Period, full stop. But if we want to retain and keep and save and conserve and preserve this country, then we must enforce our laws equally, diligently, thoroughly, as they are written, no exceptions. Jeremy Harrell coming up next here on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. Please remember to hit the follow button, hit the thumbs up button, and make sure, please, that you share this show all over the place. Things are changing in the online world. We need all the shares that you can get. So please go ahead and share this with your friends. We greatly appreciate all of you guys for being here. Jeremy Harrell coming up next as President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a look. Keep an eye out. Later, the Rumble Shorts, Chief Golden Eagle. We'll do a little Billie Eilish. We'll have a little bit of fun with that. Rumble Shorts debuts today. As you know, Jeremy Harrell with a special report on special elections, upcoming primaries, and the midterms, so you don't want to miss that. Make sure you tune in there. Stay right here. Don't have to go anywhere. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll be joining Michael Patrick Leahy from 11 to 12 Central Time on the Tennessee bonus hour of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV. I'll also be hanging out with Misfit tonight on the weekly breakdown. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bang gavel. Good night, everybody, and thank you for your attention to this matter.